Baptist podcast we gather around to talk theology, politics, and the sweet banjo sound. Kevin Thompson leads the way, teacher and preacher too. With a men's quartet, the harmonies ring true. Gather around the mic, let's find our way, singing praises, strumming banjo strings all day. Amputated Baptist podcast where we all belong. Join the harmony, let it carry us along. With a passion for faith and a banjo by our side, we don't deep, we don't hide, we take it all in stride. From parables to politics, every topic on the table, let's harmonize together, let's make it stable. In the chord progressions we find our peace, singing praises, strumming banjo strings all day. Amputated Baptist podcast where we all belong. Join the harmony, let it carry us along.
Theology, politics, and a little bit of banjo. You're listening to the Amputated Baptist podcast. And now, here is your host, the Amputated Baptist himself, Kevin Thompson.
All right, we're back with another episode of the Amputated Baptist podcast. We're continuing our little series, Come Let Us Reason Together, out of Isaiah 118. And we're back with this scary crew here of Dave Swanson, who drove all the way down from Minnesota to be with us, and Ray Jewell, who drove from Janesville.
Actually, he drove. I just come along for the ride.
Okay, so really Ray is just along for the ride here, and I just came from down the street, but practically down the street anyway.
I was walking down the street.
All right, before Ray starts singing and getting us way off topic, so we have been, I'm pretty sure we really haven't hit any of these questions that we've got to, and Dave was just lamenting the fact that he only really prepared for one question, and we haven't even got to that. We're in episode 3 right now with this, so we're going to get to that. So Ray, I'm not going to turn it over to you this time.
That's okay.
It's
your show. I do whatever you want.
So Dave, I'm going to ask you, if there's anything we know about you, it's that you're a reader. And you have a passion for knowledge, and so therefore you're reading for that purpose.
It's to take all things captive for Christ.
Yeah. And so reading has expanded your mind, expanded your outlook. And so talk to us about some of the books that have influenced your thought, influenced your life.
Well, I was telling Ray earlier, I would put 3 of them in the category of Wright, Witherington, and Wright. Okay. And it sounds like a law firm.
Yeah.
But it's N.T. Wright,
okay,
Ben Witherington III, and Christopher Wright. They are very strong influence because they are masterful writers. And they can communicate lofty concepts down to a level where a 6th grader could understand. And I admire that. So if you want to read the lofty, you can, but they also have books that are readable for others. So those are the top 3, but they're not the only ones.
So I'm going to say for the record that N.T. Wright has rejected opportunities to come on this podcast, but the offer is still open. If
he's a smart man, probably. It would be cool to have him on. I had the opportunity years ago. He was over at Elmbrook Church in the Milwaukee suburb, and my wife and I went over to hear him speak, and she allowed me to spend $100 on resources, and it was sort of like a bucket list type thing for me. It was awesome, It was just listening to him. The guy that introduced him sort of joked about his name a little bit. He said, "New Testament Wright."
Yeah.
But he is so right most of the time, I think, and I know he's got credit. Well, we all have our critics, but he's my go-to guy. And I also had the opportunity to hear Ben Witherington III. And he was at a Strauss lectureship at Lincoln years ago, about 2008. And it was interesting because Roxbury was dealing with the whole role of women in the church issue.
Yeah.
Which, why it took so long for them to get there, I don't know. But I was studying that. I heard somebody with the complementarian view on the radio, and then I listened to Witherington with his egalitarian, and the egalitarian view made a whole lot more sense to me, and I wrote a paper on it using him and other sources, and basically went straight through the Bible and showed the reasoning that I had with examples of women who were actually the leaders of Israel or in the church, and just looking at the passages that people go to first. That's a mistake right there. If you want to study a topic in Scripture, start at the beginning of Scripture and see what it has to say, because Genesis 1 talks about that explicitly. When God said, "We'll make them in our image, male and female, make them," but He gave dominion to them both. It wasn't like there's a hierarchy. The hierarchy didn't come in until it was a consequence of sin.
Did you guys hear that? I'm hearing the clicking of all my conservative friends turning off this podcast right now with discussion of anti-right and egalitarianism. But so anyway, yeah, anti-right's an interesting guy. I have some reservations, but I think overall.
No, there's rarely an author that I would say I agree with them 100%. Right. But what I would say is that their dedication to scholarly research is a huge influence. And if you're going to argue with them, you better be prepared. Yeah. You can't just fall back on, well, I believe.
Yeah.
You've got to do the exegetical work with them.
Yeah.
So those three are top. Then I've got categorized. Okay. So I'm sorry this is long, but
no, this is why you're here.
My next category is literature and Christianity.
Okay.
So who I would place there is C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
That man could write in any genre.
Yeah.
Yep. He was just...
It almost did.
Oh, geez, yeah. He was brilliant. J.R.R. Tolkien is another one I love. Yeah. J.R.R. Tolkien knew like 130 some languages and dialects. Brilliant man. These are all part of the Oxford group.
Right. Yeah, they influenced each other and encouraged each other.
Dorothy Sayers. Mm-hmm. She wrote The Mind of the Maker.
Yep.
The Lord Peter Whimsey detective series, and she wrote a play called The Man Born to be King. Mm-hmm. That is really interesting. Charles Williams is another. He's not as well known, but he wrote these metaphysical thrillers.
Interesting.
Yeah. So those I love. George McDonald.
Yep.
Yeah. That man has sermons. He wrote fairy tales.
Right.
Which I've read them all.
Yeah, very similar to Lewis.
Yes. Yeah, big influence.
Yeah.
William Morris was also, who wrote At the World's End. But George MacDonald, he did a book called, there were two books, Phantasties and Lilith, that are quite deep. Those are great. G.K. Chesterton.
Yep.
He does a book on Orthodoxy. Well, he does books on Orthodoxy and the Everlasting Man. Yep. But he's also done some other stuff that's good. Then it comes to generalized, Alister McGrath.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
He's a scientist who was an atheist.
Yeah.
And he's another one that can write at the different levels.
Yes.
He's got one that has to do with science, and it's 3 volumes, and it's deep reading. So, but I highly respect him. Gregory Beale.
Oh, yes. He's at Westminster.
Yeah.
I think,
And he does he has this commentary on the New Testament use of the Old Testament, which I think is a wonderful resources. Excellent. And now they've got the dictionary of it.
Yes.
Yeah, if you don't read the New Testament being conscious of the Old Testament, you've messed up, because that was the Bible for the people.
Yeah.
That was the Bible Jesus used, and the Bible that the apostles used and the believers used. It was the Old Testament.
Well, and Beale's got this great, from a biblical theology perspective, he's one of those guys who has the grand narrative in mind
Yes.
of Scripture and isn't losing the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
It reminds us about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even going back to the garden and this garden temple, bringing us right through to Revelation, and seeing the culmination, all of that, he's Beale's just.
And the thing that our culture we lost, that Christianity lost a vision of, was that grand narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because postmodernism highly influenced that.
Right.
There are no true narratives. It's and these are. It's hard to classify all postmodernists the same, but essentially they came to the conclusion there's no grand narrative, and truth is
Subjective.
relativized.
Yeah.
It becomes, once again, it becomes all about me.
Yeah.
My individual salvation, my individual whatever, to where, I don't need to be a part of a church. And I'm not, when I use the word church, I mean something broader than being a part of the group that you come together on Sunday for worship. I'm talking about the church universally, where, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have to go to worship with other people. I worship with other people in my walk in the Lord and others during the week, possibly more so than I do on a Sunday morning. Even though I'm the guy that brings the message, I think, we really have lost this sense of community, that our community is not just a little group that we with on Sundays. It's anybody who professes the name of Jesus, whether we agree on certain theological points or not.
I consider this worship.
I do too.
Because
Very much
Jesus
so.
said, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, and we are.
We could do a little
We're
singing.
here to look at, Jesus in the worldview, essentially.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Beale is magnificent.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
another one that's
Right.
just a clear thinker.
Yep.
Kenneth Bailey, he did a book called, 2 books that I really liked. Jesus Through Mediterranean Eyes. So it's
I've heard that book. Yeah.
Instead of getting a Western view of Jesus,
Right.
like we're rammed down our throats.
Ray,
most
did
of
you
the time.
recommend that book to me?
Only after he recommended it to me, and
Yeah,
I read
okay.
it.
Okay.
And then there's-
he's the source.
Don't blame me.
I mean, I think you even sent me a copy of
I
that
did.
for free. I mean, nice guy.
And then there's Paul Through Mediterranean Eyes. Sociology. My interests are broad
Yeah.
because of taking every thought captive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now we're going blue here on the podcast.
Yeah, it's important. If interests that come up, I want to know so that I can defend my faith.
Yeah.
So sociology is a big one, and there's 2 brilliant Christian sociologists that write several things. One is Christopher Smith. Christopher Smith did a whole study. There's about 8 books that came out of them, and I read them all. But it's called The National Study of Youth and Religion. So they were looking at how religion was viewed by youth, and what they came up with as they looked at all these questions they asked and all the things that the youth responded with was a kind of, it'd be a category labeled, but it fits. They called it moralistic therapeutic Deism.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
They're wonderful books if you want to get a sense of where kids are at and what they need to hear or what they are hearing. That's the place to start researching that. He also...
You said Christopher Smith?
Christopher Smith, yeah. He did a book on passing the plate, which is about giving, stewardship. That is wonderful. And he showed that if Christians all Christians gave 10%, and that's not a mandate,
Right.
but it was just an example. If all Christians gave 10%, poverty could be eliminated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I enjoy him.
What was the first book that you said of him? The one with the youth and stuff?
Oh, there's 7 of them. I
Oh.
can send you a bibliography. Some of this, if anybody wants to know.
Yeah, send that to us. We can put that in our show notes
Yeah.
so that people can be up on this.
Another one is James Davison Hunter. He's a sociologist. He wrote a book that I really liked. It's called Science and the Good, where if you look at the Enlightenment period, the Enlightenment thought, well, we can manufacture or we can devolve a morality system
Right.
from reason
Yeah.
and science. And his whole thing is, no, you can't.
Yeah. Right.
David Hume kind of squashed that.
Yeah.
So I like him, but he's done other books. He had one that was called To Flourish or Destruct, which is about Christian faith. The one that affected me the most is a book called To Change the World. And what he talks about there is that Christians need to really present what he calls a faithful presence. And that faithful presence is kind of what we were talking about before, that it's your lived life and what you believe that they fit together. You don't always have to be proclaiming
Right.
the gospel. People know you're a Christian and they'll see things in your life that makes it interesting to them.
Well,
That's
you're
that faithful
proclaiming
presence.
it in your deeds and not
Yes.
in words.
And you need both.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can do without
But
it.
one leads to the other.
Yes.
Right.
And so you can't separate the two.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between, your loving neighbor across the street who's a Christian and the guy on the street corner screaming at people, preaching through a Bible or a
Yes, there
or
is.
something.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Because one is actually speaking to needs. The other is saying, I know your needs.
Yeah.
And you don't. We don't know what that person's struggling with or what they're going through. And we need to take the time.
Yeah.
Because then we can start developing answers for them.
Yeah.
So sociology, James Davison Hunter, he also did a book that I'm reading right now. It's Democracy and Solidarity. And it's on the cultural roots of the America's political crisis.
Interesting. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it's very good. He is excellent sociologist. I couldn't recommend these two, Smith, more highly. No, now do I disagree with their theology? But their research is impeccable.
Right.
And if you're going to argue against them, you better be prepared.
Yep.
So sociology is an interest of mine. Philosophy of science is a huge.
Yeah.
In fact, my graduate studies were mostly in that because James Strauss influenced me heavily. So there's some basic ones. Most people wouldn't want to read these because they're harder.
Right.
But Karl Popper does a lot of stuff.
Okay.
He would be what you'd call a realist in science.
Yep.
And then there's the other perspective that it kind of flips back and forth, the anti-realist.
Yeah.
And one of those is Thomas Kuhn. He wrote a book called, just a minute, I got something in my eye. He wrote a book called about the nature of science.
Yeah.
And structure of scientific revolutions. And what he essentially was pointing out is that it's not a growth, straight line growth. It's growth, and then all of a sudden the anomalies come, and what they hold as a view falls.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fall right away, because you have normal scientists and revolutionary scientists, and they combat for a while.
Right.
And I think he had a good point. But what he took it to is that there was, you couldn't talk between the two because, and that's where he screwed up.
Right.
More or less. Sorry for that. But Thomas Kuhn, Imre Lakatos, he does a methodology of scientific research. He's very like Karl Popper.
Okay.
And then Michael Polanyi, he has a book called Personal Knowledge. where he really talks about you can't do a strict scientific report because there's always personal stuff.
Right.
Oh,
that-
sure.
Yeah, there's no one who's going to be completely objective.
No,
There's
and
no such
sometimes
thing.
the personal stuff is really good.
Right.
So I admire him. I'm sorry if this gets long. And
This is why you're here.
This is really
We're taking advantage of your
Yes.
time.
hermeneutics is a huge issue.
Yep.
How do we understand? How do we interpret the text?
Right.
And that's where a huge amount of problems come in.
Yeah.
So Kevin Van Hooser.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Brilliant.
Who has agreed to come on this podcast?
Has he? Good for
He
you.
has. I've reached out to him. We haven't figured out a date yet,
Yeah.
but he's at least willing to do it.
He just has a new book on hermeneutics.
Yes.
Yeah, it came out. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, I haven't read that book yet.
Yeah.
But we're talking, yeah, we've been talking about postmodernism, we've been talking about interpretation,
Yeah.
and yeah, at some point during the summer, I think we're going to make that happen.
Oh, cool.
I want to be a part of that if you allow my humbleness to be there.
Your humbleness, I haven't seen your humbleness yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, where'd that come from? Anthony Thistleton,
Yes.
another hermeneutics guy. His is probably one of the earliest, best texts you can read. And then there's a new guy, not so new, Craig Bartholomew.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He
yeah.
did a whole series. There's 9 volumes that are on hermeneutics.
Yes.
It's edited. But he's done some books on like just the Christian story
Right.
that are excellent
Yep.
books, and a beginner can read those. So those are mine in hermeneutics. There's more, but those are the
Right.
big ones. Worldview is another one. You can't probably get any better than Nagel's worldview book. He goes at it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Then there's Stephen Wilkin and Mark Sanford wrote a book called Hidden Worldviews.
Yes.
I absolutely love, because it looks at those worldviews that we hold
Right.
that we've never analyzed.
Yeah.
We just hold them. So I wrote them down. The worldviews are individualism, consumerism, nationalism,
Yeah.
moral relativism, scientific naturalism, the New Age, which is actually still predominant,
Oh, yeah.
postmodern tribalism, go figure, and salvation by therapy.
Mm.
So they're and it's well reasoned.
Yeah.
On the image of God, which I think is vitally important,
Yeah.
that we understand that, because I was telling Ray, Bob Kirko, who was a friend of both of ours, and he and I were in school together at graduate school and college, but we wrote a paper, asked Jim Strauss if we could write a paper together, and he allowed us to do that. And he held the view that the image of God was creativity.
Yes.
We held the view that it's the essence. It's of essence, that we are like God, of essence.
So creativity would just be part of it.
Part of it, yeah. But it also stood countercultural to all the beliefs around them, because the only people who held image of God were the priests and the kings. And now in Genesis it says all are created in the image and likeness of God. So how do we treat each other?
Yeah.
Priests and kings. Great deal of respect. Carmen Joy Imes, she has a trilogy. One of them's not out yet, but Bearing God's Name, Why Sinai Still Matters is the title. The next one is Being God's Image, Why Creation Still Matters. And then she has one coming out, Becoming God's Family, Why the Church Still Matters. Those are excellent. She's
they sound
great
really
scholar.
interesting.
J. Richard Middleton also wrote a book. He wrote a book called The Liberating Image.
Yeah.
That's good on the image of God. But he also has one, this doesn't have to do with it has to do with eschatology, but it's a new heaven and a new earth.
Okay.
Reclaiming biblical eschatology.
Yeah.
That's good. Apologetics, there's two that I like, William Lane Craig,
Yep. Oh yeah.
Paul Copan, who is...
Yeah, I read both of them very well. Yeah.
And Paul Copan has done some books on the problem of the Old Testament.
Right.
Yeah.
I found that really helpful.
Yes, very good. But William Lane Craig and Moreland did a book called Philosophical Foundations of a Christian Worldview.
Yep.
It's like an encyclopedia.
Right. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
I met Moreland, J.P. Moreland, at a conference once.
Yeah, I did too.
And sad to say, William Lane Craig has rejected offers to be on here.
Yeah.
But
Well, if one of the Lincoln grads that went to school and got to work with him would ask him, I bet you they'd do it. But I'm not one of those. I did hear him, interacted with him a couple of times at Lincoln, though.
Yeah.
yeah, Craig he's one of those. How does one person be so intelligent?
Well,
You
that's
know?
what Moreland said.
Yeah.
You know, he's the philosopher of philosophers
Yeah.
to Moreland. He said, I wish I could be like him.
Yeah.
But Moreland was very good.
Oh yeah,
you
incredible.
know. So I would put Moreland in there too.
Yeah.
There's some works I don't quite follow with Moreland of late, but still I like him. In terms of some Old Testament that's very helpful is John Walton. He
Yep.
has books called The
He's
Lost.
the guy, John Walton is the one that is would take and say that the creation account is more along the lines of the Near Eastern creation myths.
No,
He says that.
no,
Oh yeah.
no, this is the Lost World of series. He
But
has a
he
whole
also had
series.
something else that he.
He talks about the Eastern, or the views then.
Yeah.
But he's saying that it was more poetic
Yeah.
instruction, which it is.
Right.
It's like a palistrophe, I don't know, you know, where
Yeah.
the simple model is thought A, thought B, thought C is the center, it just comes to one thought, and then it goes B prime, A prime. So it's like
Yeah.
yeah, so those are good. It's the Lost World series. It goes through all the different
Yeah.
books.
Now was he down at Trinity in Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, Trinity doesn't exist anymore.
You know, I'm not up on the times.
It moved to a college in Canada.
I did not know that.
No, there's a lot of schools closing, and this is where Christian Smith's book comes in.
Yeah.
That's that one. Let's see, but I can't remember the title because I just read it. It's the book on why religion became obsolete.
Okay.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
So anyway, worldview, image of God, apologetics, Walton, Christian history. There's two I like: Mark Knoll,
Oh yeah, Mark Knoll.
yeah, and David F. Wells.
Oh yeah. Well, wow, what did he just write? What did they just write? Oh, good night. Because he was from Massachusetts at one point.
Yeah.
He lived there.
But he's a great
Oh
historian.
yeah.
And
Courage to be Protestant. Is that
what's that?
Courage to be Protestant? Is that?
Yes.
That Wells? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a series of books
Yeah.
that are just wonderful. Then there's another series that IVP does, and I would recommend reading all of them. But when you hear the book numbers, when I say three that I like, you'll know how many there are. One is on prayer, and it's the best book I've ever read on prayer. Most of it makes it ethereal, or
Yeah.
it's like, God, give me this, or, you know, he'll grant your wishes kind of thing.
Yeah.
This one is an analysis of the prayers of the Bible, but what it's called, it's by J. Gary Miller, and
Okay.
it's called Calling on the Name of the Lord, a Biblical Theology of Prayer.
Okay. I am pretty sure I have that.
Yeah.
Now this is so this
I
is a
may
huge
have sent
series.
that to you in, I can't remember, in
Yeah.
Kindle form.
Yes.
Who's the author?
Yes.
J. Gary Miller.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
book number 38.
Yes. Okay. I know this series now. You're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did send that to me. I have that. Yeah.
Yeah. David G. Firth does one called Including the Stranger, which is highly relevant.
Right.
Immigration.
So what we're doing today, yeah.
Yeah, because, and it's, let's see, the full title is Including the Stranger, Foreigners and the Former Prophets.
Yeah.
What does the biblical text say about that?
Now this is the, okay, I call it the Gray series.
Yeah.
Because all
it's
the
all gray books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a teacher literally taught right across the hall. He's at, man, I can't remember what seminary he's at now, but that was his thing.
Yeah.
Any of those books he could get hold of,
They're
snap
excellent.
them up.
Yeah, and that's number 50.
Yeah.
So then Beale again has one, and it's the first one of the series I read, and it explained Genesis in a way, especially chapter 1, that I never thought of before, that it really presented temple imagery.
Yeah.
And if you look at the construction of the temple, the
Right.
parallels are amazing, but it's called The Temple and the Church's Mission.
Yeah, I've got that. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent book.
Yeah.
And that's one of those you've got to digest slowly
Yes.
and think through it.
It's not one you read fast.
No.
That's book 17.
Yeah.
So it's one of the earlier ones. There's another field that I'm highly interested in and I've worked in. It's human trafficking.
Okay, yeah.
And there's 3 books there. There's a lot more there that are good, but Louise Shelley does a book called Human Trafficking that is excellent. She just goes through how human trafficking is throughout the world, and if you think it's not in the United States, you're wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Super
It's
Bowl,
not just in
Super
the United
Bowl's the
States, it's
biggest
here.
one in the world.
It's across the street.
Yeah, exactly. There's several books about how it's happening in, it's like in my neighborhood or something like that. The other one is Victor Malloch. He did a book called The Johns, which is, what John means.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the gospel.
Yeah. No.
But
Not the bathroom mirror.
No. He did a book on the Johns themselves, what they think, how they react.
Yeah.
And it's horrible
Right.
how they view women. But it's an excellent book because it challenges views of women that many of us have. But that's a great one. And then the last one is I'm not recommending the book, but it's like the father of human trafficking, Kevin Bales. He has multiple books on human trafficking.
Yeah.
And he's got one that is the stories of human trafficking of individuals. And one of my friends has a chapter in there. So it's very good. And then the final, I'm almost done here. This is really abbreviated. I'm sorry. I would suggest you look at politics.
Yeah.
You look at, I've already mentioned sociology, psychology needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
And I've got lists in all of them. Ethnic race issues, huge.
Yeah.
Philosophy and history. I think those,
Yeah.
I tried to cover a lot of categories because I think that those are all categories that affect our lives.
Right.
And we need to be aware of them if we're going to speak to, in the name of Christ and to other people who aren't Christian.
Right.
So we understand where they're coming from, because then we have a message.
Yeah.
If we don't know where they're coming from, we start to force our message
Right.
on them, saying this is your need, this is your need, and it's not always that way.
We're called to exegete not just the scriptures, but our culture.
Yes.
And if we're not doing that, we're doing a disservice to scripture.
Right.
Christians, I'll send it to you too. Christian Smith and the one about how religion has become obsolete. His chapter 9 is just brilliant because he goes through all the influences, lists them.
Yeah.
And some of them, there's pop stars. How do they influence us? Their songs.
Right.
He talks about Nirvana, Teen Spirit.
Yep. Smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah. But he goes through a whole list of things that the church doesn't speak to kids about.
Yeah.
And, we need to start listening to the music the kids are listening to.
Oh, for sure.
because that's where some of their angst
Yeah.
is coming from.
Yeah, it's interesting when you do that. 'Cause, I'll hear kids quote song lyrics or something here in the classroom, and I'll Google it, and you got to get past the there's some profanity, there's some and stuff like that. When you get down to the root of what they're saying,
Yes.
that can be shocking,
Yeah.
and that can be really concerning. And this is what they're listening to,
Yeah.
and not only are they listening to it, but they are A, affected by it, and B, it's either they're affected by it or they're relating to it.
Yep.
And so there's something that's resonating there that we're missing. And if we're missing that, we're missing what they're going through.
And sometimes it's a subliminal
Yeah.
influence. It's there, but they weren't really thinking about
Right.
it, but it comes out later. So I could go on. And this is not bragging, but I've got over 5,000 books in my library.
Mm.
So that's been since I attended college,
Yeah.
Bible college the
So about
first time.
5-10 years.
Oh, gee, 1976.
That was
That's
1
when
year before I
graduated.
was born.
73 was when I started. And the person that got me, I can tell you, I could count on one hand the books I read before I went to that college with Paul. After that, and he was so interdisciplinary in teaching us that this is why all these fields have become important to me.
All right, so we're going to end there. Our third episode in our series here about Come Let Us Reason Together. And we're going to have a list of some of these books here on the website. So if you haven't been writing these down, don't worry. I'll have links there for you. And so you can check that out at amputedbaptist.com. Join our Facebook group and join the conversation there. And don't forget, most importantly, join us back next week when we have another episode. So until next week, have a good rest of your week.
Singing praises, strumming banjo strings all day. Amputated Baptist Podcast, where we all belong. Join the harmony, let it carry us along.